Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a overall analysis on where the market is headed and some different scenarios that we could encounter. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert doing research. So obviously I was very wrong with regards to altcoins doing very well in the early parts of the summer for a lot of reasons. I mean, number one, Bitcoin nuked badly, and then number two, all the liquidity just went to like meme coins like Shiba and what have you. But we're here now, and what can we expect for the next few months? What are my thoughts on altcoins? Where is the market headed? This is like a video that I'm just going to just kind of go through and give some thoughts. So we'll go through a few different scenarios. Number one, the scenario will be Bitcoin nukes. Bitcoin nuking would be a result of it going to $24,000 to $20,000. And if this happens, altcoins are just going to fucking die. There's no ifs or buts about it. Altcoins will go another like 50% or 75%, or I don't know, like just from their current levels, that is. It's going to be very, very ugly for altcoins if this happens. So number one scenario, if Bitcoin nukes down to 20,000 or 24,000, alts will just have a huge leg down, and they will likely go back to the origin of the pump. So they'll literally do like full retraces from their moves that we saw back in 2021. So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is that this is the overall bottom right here around 28K. Like this overall region is the bottom, and price just holds from here. In this case, there are two results. Number one result would be Bitcoin doing some sort of massive short squeeze, where we see it going from 30,000 all the way up to 45 to 50,000. This is a scenario that I've actually long suspected would happen. However, I've been very, very, very wrong with regards to the timing and even the prediction of it. It's quite possible this doesn't really even happen at all. But here is scenario number two, in that 28K is in fact the overall bottom. Price does a short squeeze up from these range lows at 28K all the way up to 40,000, and then breaks up even higher. There were a lot of reasons why I thought this was going to happen, and I still am like of the opinion that this is certainly a scenario that is a certain possibility. However, I have much less conviction of it than I did back a month ago. Now, with that said, if this were the case, what is going to happen to altcoins? Alt USD pairs are likely to do pretty well. Traditionally, when Bitcoin USD does well, Alt USD does pretty well as well. Usually, they don't perform as strongly when Bitcoin starts to move very heavily in both directions. That is. Alt BTC pairs would probably suffer, in my opinion, if this were the case. If Bitcoin goes up to 40,000 or 45,000 or 50,000 in a strong manner, then alt BTC pairs should retrace pretty strongly. And that's going to happen as well if Bitcoin goes to like 20,000. Alt BTC pairs should also die, and Bitcoin dominance will in fact go up, in my opinion, in that situation. So though that's the other scenario. The other scenario that I might have is that Bitcoin kind of slowly grinds up and kind of hits this range high around 41K and gets rejected. This is also a very likely scenario given the overall context of the market. And if this happens, then I actually think that alt USD pairs should recover in the short term, hit a lower high, and then break down. So I'm talking like, you know, anywhere from 50 to 100% moves up from the current levels. And at that point, they'll just hit a lower high. Alt BTC pairs, maybe a little bit more short-term pain, but then they actually might do pretty well if Bitcoin in fact hits this ranging environment. So that's the overall macro context with Bitcoin. As with everything in crypto, Bitcoin is going to dictate what happens with altcoins and the entire market. And those are the three scenarios that I personally see happening. I mean, there's the fourth scenario in that Bitcoin just like does this massive like V-shaped reversal and just like goes up to 60K, but I think that's very, very, very unlikely. in any short-term time. That doesn't seem likely at all to me personally. Okay, so that's the scenario for Bitcoin. So that's the overall macro context. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is a traditionally good indicator in regards to what the overall macro environment is like for altcoins. And what is Bitcoin dominance? I have a video on Bitcoin dominance, so check it out. But it's really just Bitcoin's share of the market relative to the entire crypto market. So when Bitcoin dominance goes up, that means that Bitcoin has a higher share of the total crypto market than relative to the rest of the market, meaning altcoins. And usually when Bitcoin dominance goes up, that usually means that alt BTC pairs die. That's usually almost always the traditional cycle. Alt USD pairs usually go up when Bitcoin goes up, but usually they don't perform as well as Bitcoin when Bitcoin really starts to move. Now, as you can see from here, this chart, also when reading the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's usually very good for altcoins when Bitcoin dominance goes down, because that means that altcoins have a larger share of the market cap than Bitcoin, or are gaining market share. As you can see all throughout 2021, I mean, Bitcoin dominance plummeted and altcoins really did well. But since that time, since May, we saw quite a bit of altcoin death, and Bitcoin dominance looks to be still headed up. And this is a scenario that I actually painted out. However, I didn't trade it as well. There's a few reasons why I didn't really put as much credit into the Bitcoin dominance chart as I did in the past. The reason is that there's just so many more altcoins these days that with the introduction of Uniswap and PancakeSwap, there's so many different new coins now that kind of dilute this overall macro chart a little bit. Back in the day, back in like 2018 and stuff, like, altcoins really had to be listed on exchanges in order for, them to really have any sort of volume. And that's somewhat true still today, but I mean, you still see action on PancakeSwap and Uniswap. But these days, there's so many new coins that are being created that it dilutes this chart a little bit, in my opinion. However, with that said, trading it is still decent, and I used to always just like look at this chart back when I traded just altcoins and alt BTC pairs. But the way you trade this chart is that it's an inverse idea if you trade altcoins, meaning if you long them. You want to see Bitcoin dominance go down, and that's usually means that altcoins are going up in value, alt BTC that is. Alternately, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, that means that alt BTC values go down, and sometimes alt USD values also go down as well. So if you're an altcoin trader, you want to see Bitcoin dominance go down, is what I'm trying to say. So that's the general context of what we're looking at right now. And what you can see is that Bitcoin dominance has been kind of chopping upwards over the last few months. And I actually think that we'll see maybe one last big move up to like the 49 to 52% or so. And this is an idea that I long had. And in other words, I think we're going to see alt USD and alt BTC have a little bit more pain, and then we'll see dominance have some sort of relief, and meaning that I think that maybe early Q4 or late Q3 we'll see altcoins actually have, as I said, 50 to 100% runs from their levels at that point, making a lower high and then probably going lower again. But that's kind of my overall thoughts for the Bitcoin dominance chart, is that we'll see a little bit more pain for altcoins, and then we'll see a pretty good rebound. Let's look briefly at ETH BTC. ETH BTC is a great macro indicator for altcoins, specifically alt USD, alt BTC pairs. As you can see, ETH BTC still is in a macro trend, a macro bullish trend on the weekly, but it does have to form this higher low. And lows take a long time to form. As you can see, back in March, it formed a low, and back in November of 2020, it was forming a low. Like these lows take quite a long time to form. And if you look all throughout its price history, it takes like several weeks to form. Now, because it had such a big run back in May and April and what have you, it has to form a higher low, in my opinion, and I'm looking at this 055 level first off to hold. Now, if that falls, then I would actually look for 045 kind of area for support. So in my opinion, we'll hit something like this 055 level will hit, or if Bitcoin runs or dumps very hard, then we'll see this 045 level. But from an overall macro view of this, like this is still a bullish market trend on the 1 week, and this still looks okay. With that said, it does look like there's going to be a little bit more pain for ETH BTC, and we'll see this go down a little bit more down to like the 055 level or potentially 045. But regardless, I do believe that this is still a bullish trend and that this will continue higher eventually. It just might take some more time. And it's also, I mean, it is certainly possible this is just like the overall top and this just like starts heading back lower. But given the time that this accumulated all throughout 2018, 2019, I think that this is still a bullish trend. So I think a little bit lower and then maybe a little bit more higher. Now let's look at some areas of potential buys for some popular altcoins, like something like RUNE. This is a coin that went from $20 and now it's at $3. So it had a massive retrace. And if you look at like stuff like volume profile and other type of indicators, it's quite possible this like has that like kind of capitulation wick down from like $2 to 150. And now obviously that's like pretty gross from current levels. I mean, that's another like 50% down, as I said. Certainly possible though, like, and that's kind of what I'm expecting eventually. But you do want to look for coins that have pulled back a lot in a very fast manner. Like, and RUNE is one for a lot of reasons. Number one, just like it got dumped like hugely. There was the hack recently, but a reversal does look pretty common, and it looks like it's potentially coming soon, given this like massive sell volume. That aside, too, I also want to plug my reversal pattern video. Check that out under the education section, because that's another thing that you'll be looking for these reversals. There's several different types of reversals, like rounded bottom, V-shaped reversal, these long accumulation patterns. There's like a lot of different types of reversal patterns that will happen, and we'll see what we're looking for when it comes. But I mean, like, it's certainly possible that we like hit some sort of like capitulation wick and then like hit some sort of like move up and then like some lower high form. That's kind of what I'm expecting in general. So for coins like RUNE, like $2 to 150 like looks pretty reasonable. Something like Compound, I mean, the bottom might just be like this area again around 250. This could be like the overall bottom. It could be like a double bottom type of pattern where we see like this grind down and then come back up. So we'll hit like a double bottom pattern. That's another type of reversal pattern. It's like the double bottom, and that's like another one to check out. Let's look at Link as well. That's sorry, this is like I didn't really prepare a chart, or I didn't prepare like a list only for this video. Okay, so check out Link. This overall high volume node, point of control from this entire range all the way back in August of 2020. This area is about to come. So like 1250-ish area. This is like a pretty solid buy area in my opinion. Usually these high volume nodes, like point of control areas, are very good buys. And like, you can see coins like Link that pulled back quite a bit, from 50 all the way down to 1250 or so, which is what it probably will come down to. Should be a good buy. Should be a pretty good buy. Like these areas, like this was a long accumulation area that we saw back in the summer of 2020, and then it had this massive run. So, in my opinion, I think we'll see a pretty good area right here. to buy and check out, and this, in my opinion, would be a solid buying area, anywhere from like 11 to 12.50. Dot. Let me go up to another chart. I know I have a lot of these charts. As I said, this is like, I was not really prepared for this video. Let's look it up. Oh, I found it. Okay, so DOT, another coin that's very popular, and it's just about entering the buy zone, because this is another like high volume node area, around $9 or $10. I mean, true capitulation would be like all the way down to like 6 and 5, but let's just hope that doesn't really happen. But it's, again, entering an area of interest for me, like just a little bit lower, like down to 8 to 9 or so, and I think this one like has like pretty good gains. So what I can tell from all of these charts is that they're very close to these like very interesting support levels, and in my opinion, I think these all, like many of these will hit some sort of like 50 to 100% moves in the coming weeks, and then they'll like hit some like lower high, and then we'll hit like a consolidation period throughout the fall, and then hopefully do pretty well in the winter like we have always done. So those are my overall thoughts on altcoins. In summation, I believe that we have a little bit more short-term pain. So like Link will go like 1250. This one will go to like 850 or so. And then I think we hit some sort of like pretty strong V-shaped reversal in the short term, hitting a lower high and then coming back down. But again, it's really going to depend on the number one macro for Bitcoin. So please let me know what you guys think overall, and I appreciate any thoughts or comments. Thank you so much.